while back, I heard a song called I Am a Friend of God, and it made me think, what does it mean to be a friend of God? Am I a friend of God? And it kind of sent me on a quest. I don't think that the person who wrote the song meant any disrespect towards God. I don't think they tried to put themselves on the same level as God. I think their intention was very sweet and pure, but it asks the question, does God want companionship? Does he want our compassion? Does he want us to be as a friend would be to us here on earth? We find friendship very valuable, and can we offer that kind of friendship to God? Does he even need that kind of friendship? And if he did, what would that look like? How could we be a friend of God? And I pondered that thought for many years. I started thinking back through my life when I first felt his touch break through, back when I was very young. I would cherish those moments in his presence, and I couldn't wait till the next time when I could sense him reaching down and touching my life. But that seems very one-sided. When I was out in the world trying to inspire others with my dance and drama team, I saw many people who had a really bad impression of God. They accused him of all sorts of things. I thought that maybe being a friend of God is when you help others that don't know him see him as a good God that always has their good in mind. So maybe being a friend of God means to present him in the best possible light at all times. And I wonder how I present God to the world. I mean, if I say that God has placed his being inside of me to change me, and I tell others that he has, what do they see in me? How do I represent my God? How do I represent my friend? Do they see the true God reflecting back at them when they look into my eyes? Do they sense holy and good intentions? Then I thought, what traits would someone need to have to be a friend of God? And I thought, well, maybe I should think about what I consider a good friend to be. Maybe I'll find some answers there. So I want a friend to be honest, loyal, and show me respect. When I talk to a true friend, they would turn their head my way and respond with kind reciprocity. So I asked myself, do I turn my head toward God and listen when he speaks to me? Do I give him my attention when he reaches out to me? Will I drop everything I'm doing and come to him with an open heart and listening ears when there is something that he needs to express to me, like I would do for a friend here on earth? I also wondered, does God cry? Does he need to be comforted? Does he look at the sadness and pain on earth and weep? Sometimes my daughter will come home distraught because she saw an animal on the side of the road that was hit by a car and his life was taken, and her life somewhat stops at that moment and she cries, why does there have to be so much pain and suffering? Or she'll see a cat or a dog hurt by or thrown out by an unthoughtful human and her heart breaks. And I try to comfort her. God sees people and animals suffering every day, all day long. Can I offer him comfort? He has created such beautiful little beings with his love, and some destroy them with neglect or even amusement. It must hurt him in a deep way. We can't possibly describe who God is, so it's really hard for us to know what to say to him and what it means entirely to be his friend. He is eternal, and he is so much more than what we can think about with our human minds. In my experience here on earth, I have had those who called me friend and then turned on me because they believed lies about me, and then even spoke those untruths to others about me. It makes me think of all those who raise their fists at God, accusing him of awful things. I know God is a big God and doesn't need to be defended, but these things have got to shoot arrows of grief deep into his heart. I do not want to be a part of his suffering, but I know that I have been in some ways. I think sometimes we get caught up in our own lives and what we need. Our own pain and sorrow and circumstances bring us down, and when that happens, we look up at God and we ask, why? We can't see him clearly because the suffering has casted a shadow over our thinking, and we are caught up in all the stuff that's happening to us. But I think a good friend is someone who doesn't change how they feel about you, regardless of what's going on in their life. They will genuinely care about you, hopefully unconditionally and forever. A real friend never changes how they treat you, no matter how long you haven't seen them or if you haven't visited them or talked to them on the phone for a while. And when you finally get a chance to talk to them and you sense that they still love you and they care about you and they miss you when you don't have those opportunities to catch up, it is enjoyable, energizing, uplifting, and it's good. I have a friend that moved across the states and I get to talk to her maybe once a year or so. But when we finally talk, I can sense that she loves me the same, even though so much time has passed. Nothing's changed, and she's my forever friend. That is the person that I have chosen to be in my life. We are good friends, even though our situation doesn't allow us to spend very much time together, and we are unable to talk to each other on the phone because we're busy with our families and jobs and everything else that happens every day in our lives. We all have worrisome things happening in our life, and we can get busy and kind of just do what needs to be done to exist, and we're taking care of business. We might sometimes forget about God. Then after time passes, we feel that God is far away, and He doesn't feel close. We haven't spent time with Him lately to just enjoy Him, and He seems distant and unreachable. Maybe we have caused the silence. We were too busy and didn't stop to listen. What are your thoughts in those times? Are you upset with Him? Did something bad happen in your life and you're accusing Him of not caring? Are you changing how you feel about Him because you haven't heard from God the way you want Him to? I know God doesn't need me to advocate for Him to other people, but I always want to represent Him in the best possible light because people use situations to make Him look bad. I believe that bad times come for all of us, and bad things happen to good people, but I will always say, He is a good God. He is a God of love, and no matter what's happening, I will not say any different. I want to be His friend to the very end, even if I don't understand what's happening, even if I'm uncomfortable or in pain. I admit there's been times when I got myself into a situation and I didn't feel like He was coming to my rescue quick enough. And there are times where I want to know why He isn't doing something, but I'm not going to sit here and accuse Him of being bad or insult His personality. Just like if someone says something awful about my friend, I'm not going to believe them or accuse my friend. I'm going to wait until I have a chance to talk to her and find out her interpretation of what happened. What is her side of the story? Being a good friend means believing in that person no matter what things look like. I feel that being a friend of God means I wouldn't say bad things about Him either. I just don't think we have a good enough understanding of the whole situation. We are not seeing things from the point of view of heaven, and we don't comprehend all the decisions that God has made. We don't have the vision or perspective. We don't have the mind of God. We can't just look at this broken earth and say, well, the earth is bad, so God is bad, and He doesn't care. We are the ones who are breaking His beautiful earth. We have a human mind with human understandings. So I believe we don't have the perspective or the mindset of God or His wisdom or His discernment. He sees everything from beginning to end, and He knows the heart of man. God knows the condition of this world. He knows all the things that's happening to you. When things seem off and you can't get a good read on your situation, it's a good time to relax in His arms and say, I believe in you. I believe that you are love and hope, and you are a good God. I don't understand exactly who you are, and I don't understand everything you do, and I don't even understand all the words you say. I misunderstand you so much. But I believe that you are a being who cares about this broken world, who cares about the suffering that people go through. And you love me in a way I will never begin to understand until we meet face to face. I believe you only mean good for me, and I want to be your friend. I want to stand with you when everything looks off or someone accuses you that you did something wrong. I will not believe them when they say that you do not care about us. I will stand alongside you, even if I'm the only one. And I want to say thank you for your beautiful creations. I cherish each animal, each bird, and every crawling thing has meaning to me. I thank you for the plants that nourish my body. What you made is truly wonderful, and I want to care for it with responsible hands. I am not perfect, and I mess up every day, and I even need your help to keep me on the path of light. I can wander off, and I know my will gets in the way. But when I turn my head to you, you are always there to love and guide me. Your presence makes me want to be good and faithful. I know what I bring to the table cannot compare to your exchange, but you accept my offering and meet me with your graces. I know my weaknesses, and I know my faults, and I know they get in the way. And I'm well acquainted with my guilt and my shame. You constantly have to pull me out of the darkness. I get scared and fearful, and I want to hide, just like Adam hid, because I know that I don't measure up. Your touch helps me to get over myself, and I'm able to shed those fleshly mindsets. And I can experience who you are when you pull me into your presence in this present moment. I feel your love encompass me, and I sense your strength and your truth. I ask you, help me to be your friend. Several years ago, someone said to me, "You're an ambassador for God." And I guess in a way they're right. I have a really hard time listening to people who misrepresent him. My daughter comes to me constantly and says, "Mom, how come people who have God in their heart, how could they possibly have so much hate?" And I have to agree with her. There's so many people out there who misrepresent who he is and cause so much pain in his name. The only thing I can say to her is that I can't judge other people for what they do. That's not my place. But I question someone who has that much hate if they truly have God inside of them. Because God is love, and his commandment is to love. We don't have to like everything that everyone does. But if you're a friend of God, you will love them with the love of God.